Imagine a normal day changing your life forever. I took my daughter in for a routine eye exam, and it takes a turn for the worse. Emily's been dealing with pseudotumor cerebri for 10 months now. After weekly doctor visits and many hours of research, I feel as though I'm qualified to take you on this journey with us. Today I'm going to take you down the path Emily and I walk with pseudotumor cerebri. Most have never heard of this rare disease. So I'm going to share with you our doctor's appointment when we first heard of it, her hospitalization, and where we are now. It started out as a routine vision checkup, and everything was going as planned. They ran all of the normal tests except for one called an OCT. Glaucoma.org states that an OCT is used to take pictures of the optical nerves so that they can view the fibers of the cable that connects the eye to the brain. I asked the doctor about this new test, and he pulls up pictures of Emily's eye on his computer and explains to us that the blurry area around her pupil is actually very swollen optical nerves. He says that there are two causes for this. One is fatal brain tumor, which he doesn't think it is, and the other is a disease called pseudotumor cerebri. He tells us that he doesn't really know much about this disease except that it's caused by an abundance of spinal fluid on the nerves. He sends us directly to the emergency room for a CAT scan to rule out the brain tumor. We get there and they do the CAT scan, and thank God they do rule out the brain tumor. But then Emily begins having a severe headache, worse than any headache she's ever had. The doctors there then suggest that they do a spinal tap. Currently, a spinal tap is the only way to diagnose pseudotumor cerebri. They do this by inserting a needle into the spinal sac at the base of her back, and the pressure at which the fluid comes out will tell the doctors the pressure at which is on her brain and on her optical nerves. It was at this day that we realized the seriousness of this disease. Pseudotumor cerebri is a disease in which the body produces too much spinal fluid and it cannot reabsorb it. This excess spinal fluid puts pressure on the optical nerve in the brain, and it causes severe damage to the optical nerve, which can lead to sudden blindness without warning. About 3 days later, we're back at the hospital again, Emily in severe pain again, and the doctors explained to us that they don't think that her body scabbed over where they did the spinal tap. Her body has been leaking spinal fluid for 3 days. So now her brain and her optical nerves don't have enough spinal fluid surrounding them. They do a blood patch using her own blood. For 4 days, Emily stayed in the hospital, and her body had to reproduce the spinal fluid. She had to stay flat on her back. She couldn't move. She couldn't go to the restroom. They had her on a morphine pump. This pain was so severe that they were giving her a morphine pump and giving her shots of medication. The doctors on staff explained to us that they do not know much about this disease as well, and the most they're going to do for her is get her stable and send her home with pain medication. It took us a week after they sent her home to find the specialist that she would go to. The specialist is called a neuro-ophthalmologist, and she was located in Hattiesburg. Her name is Mary Zatzmary. According to WebMD, she has 5 stars and is very well educated in our country and others with her specialty. She agrees to see Emily once a month, and she starts her on a fluid reducer called Diamox. MayoClinics.org says that Diamox is used as a fluid reducer to reduce the production of spinal fluid. After many months, Emily's swelling of her optical nerves finally went down, and we have reduced our trips to Dr. Zatzmary to once every 3 months. She will continue the Diamox for who knows how long, and she has an open-ended excuse at school because we don't know when her pain will come or go. Emily's diagnosis has taught me and now you about this disease, and I hope I provided a clear picture of this crazy journey of diagnosis, hospitalization, and where we are now. I've had to watch my daughter live and struggle with this disease. As a mom, all we ever want is for our children to be happy, healthy, and successful. Emily's been through hell and back, but she's still an honor student and will be graduating with her class this year. Pseudotumor cerebri will not keep her down.